I embraced with huge difficulty, because I couldn't think of me of really being an entrepreneur at any point in time. So it was a gradual process of really aligning my energy with who I am today. But before that, I was a very normal corporate person, just climbing the corporate career, having several years in executive positions in different banks. And yeah, living that life with everything that we were taught that we should be having and we should be doing in order to be appropriate, to be successful according to what society teaches us that success should mean. And I was doing that, and I was not feeling very, very fulfilled. But I think I could have stayed there like for quite a long time, because we have this impression and that we are stuck, and we just give ourselves these excuses why we can't make the change. Just that in my case, I was really helped. I got married, and fortunately, or unfortunately for me at that time, fortunately looking in perspective, this wonderful guy that is now my life partner, my husband, was living in a different country. So I had to basically just leave everything behind and restart from scratch. And it was tough. And now I sometimes say I had to completely lose myself in order to discover myself. And it was not really easy, but the result and the life that I've created right now, and the purpose above all that I discovered, are so worth it.
Yeah.
So this would be in a brief summary what brought me here. Now, what brought me exactly to being so obsessed with this work of helping women turn everything they see inside of their heart into reality, and start living their dreams, their desires in the now, was my own quest, my own search. I was trying to have a successful business, and things didn't work out very easily for me in the beginning. And then I just became obsessed with mindset, and especially with money mindset, right? Because I really wanted to find answers for myself. So in the end, my own search, my own quest, my own journey helped me find out what I was truly meant to share with the world too. And that's how I got here. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today.
So when you started out from like almost zero in the terms, you moved countries and everything else.
Zero.
You didn't know that you were going to become a money mindset mentor.
I was trying to hire myself, actually. And that is a funny story. I was trying to continue to do, to stay in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I knew that I didn't want to be anymore a corporate person, but at the same time, it was so scary to do anything else. And I was trying and applying everywhere in order to find a job, which was crazy, because in my country, I was like headhunted. And here in this new country, nobody even knew who I was. And I was not really speaking the local language when I arrived here. And I arrived in a country in crisis. At the time when I arrived here, and I was living in a provincial city, so not very, very easy to find a job for someone that was, working as an executive in companies such as Citibank.
Yeah, exactly.
other big corporations. So I think that I know that the universe always works things out for us. So in the end, it was impossible for me to stay in the comfort zone. So I had no choice but step out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's, that's how the soul grows. When we are faced with challenges, we just have to come out. There's only one way, right? If you're already down, it's only one way, it's up. So, I totally get that. I've shared some of my own personal things with yourself, and people know about those as well online because I share them quite freely. But, just talk a little bit about, I mean, I've had some questions for you, but what comes to me actually now when we're speaking is that I'm very hot on the topic of ascension and raising our vibration and clearing our path and finding our purpose and everything else. So obviously money is a big, it's a big component in this, because if we are going to change the world with our own specific gifts, whatever they may be, it needs to go around. So just talk to me about money and the energy of money and how you personally actually overcome this the money block, if you like. Tell us about the past. What happens when we have to overcome the money blocks? What are the first prompts?
What I think is that, or what I'm discovering, is that most of the people who are coming, at least my way, are being attracted in my world, and you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Are people who have been in this development journey for quite a while, for years, many years sometimes. And they are people who have already developed their manifesting powers. Like they explore, they played with them, they already have success, they know that they can create on purpose their parts of their lives. But the toughest part across the board seems to always be the money part. Like they create nice life, nice relationship, nice everything, but then the relationship with money always seems to be a bit trickier and tougher to really align with what their desires are. Mm-hmm. And what I'm finding out is that we are so conditioned to believe that money is hard to gain, that money is hard to preserve, that you need to sacrifice yourself, that something really bad happens when you are becoming rich, etc., etc. So we are so conditioned to have these negative associations with money, what earning lots of money means, and the money energy in general, that then even if rationally we are trying to move in the direction of money, our subconscious mind finds ways to slow us down, because obviously our subconscious never wants us to have something that can hurt us. More than that, there is this, and this is my conviction, there is this massive collective consciousness that we are unconsciously being tapped into, that also puts all these barriers and limitations when it comes to the relationship with money. And even if you are trying on your own to move forward, if you don't unhook yourself consciously from that collective consciousness, then you will always be drawn back in a way or another. So that's why I feel that this relationship with money is so much trickier than with any other energy in our lives. And that's why it's so important to understand exactly what are our own stories, the stories that we created and are limiting ourselves when it comes to money. But also it's important to understand the paradigm of the family that we are coming from, because those stories so deeply wired in our subconscious, in our energy, that sometimes we are, rationally we are believing something completely different, or try to believe something completely different. Mm-hmm. But then those programs that we just took from our parents unconsciously will be always driving our choices, our behavior, and our reality from the corners, from the shadows, right? Yes. So it's important to understand our own programs. It's important to understand the paradigm that was passed down to us. And I think it's also very important to start understanding what is the level of money energy that we are allowing ourselves to receive and to have. Because these are two different concepts that I am always talking about. It's one thing to receive money, And it's another thing to actually have the money, because many people are coming and they are saying, okay, now you taught me how to earn money, like, you know, have clients, money is flowing in the business, but then money goes out and I am always at the end of the day or of the month without money. And then that is the second level. Once you do identify where you are being wired for your relationship with money, where are your programs, your limitations, what is the paradigm that you inherited and that is working in you, and what are your set points, then it's quite easy to rewire all that.
Yeah. So always to go to the next level. So you always start. So if you could describe to the viewers, it's always about rewiring the negative beliefs, and then look at the perfect outcome, right? So, or like, yes, to connect to your next level, you know, to connect to what it is you want to achieve. So it's no point connecting to this unless we, you know, clear the negative beliefs behind it, or the unconscious blocks that we don't even know are there. It's going to be, it would be impossible actually to go to the next level unless they are.
You need to first declutter.
Yes.
It's like, physically speaking, if you are trying to squeeze something in a completely full box, there is nothing that will be going in. So even if you are, because I have these people that are coming and they are saying, I'm working with these affirmations, I'm working with these mantras, I'm meditating, visualizing them and all that, and they don't really work for me. And the truth is that if you are not making space for the new truth or the new energy, it will never get in. You will be never able to actually receive it and own it and imprint it in your energy, in your mind, in your mindset, because there is no room, because those old programs, old stories will be just kicking anything that is contrary to them, will be kicking that energy out. So always the first step here, and in my view and my experience, is really important first to release the negative, the emotional baggage, because I feel that nothing can happen if you are not having this decluttering, clearing and release of the old emotions and negative associations that bring strong emotions. And after you are releasing and clearing and healing the emotions, then you can go for the more mental part, for the stories, and understanding the story, starting to release the story, to shift them and bring the new stories,
and then bring the new one.
Everything shifts.
And also what I noticed as well, because I was doing some new practices with you, some of them are kind of new, but then some of them were like new, and then I was using, you know, additional things to what I'm using already. And what I realized is that it's almost like the more you use them, the more they're easy to just shift. Like it's like becomes almost like I can go, plug in please, bang, do it, like, and it does it, because it's like a practicing a muscle. So I just want to encourage that people that are watching and thinking, oh my goodness, where do I start? It's like, well, start somewhere.
Anywhere.
Start somewhere and be persistent, be consistent, keep doing it, and it will happen. So I think that's a really good encouragement, because some people might think, oh my goodness, where do I go? You know, what do I do? Where do I start? But yeah, I'm sure you've experienced this as well for yourself, that once you start practicing something, it's like it shifts easy.
Totally. There is something here, though, that I would not feel very responsible if I would not be, you know, saying in terms of, you know, as a note that is very, very important. Obviously, it's very easy once you have the tools, once you have the processes and you start practicing them, they become like conditioned reflexes, right? So then you are not even thinking sometimes about them, and you are just making the shift. You are just noticing while you are doing it, like without giving too much or putting too much energy into it. But I feel that especially in the beginning of the journey, and this is something that I told you and I'm telling to all the people that, especially when they are like mindset coaches or spiritual teachers that are helping their clients with this exact kind of rewiring, healing, and elevation of their mindset and vibration. It's important in the beginning of the journey, at least, or in the middle, or whenever you feel that it's time to go deeper, to have someone to hold the space for you. Someone that, a mentor that you trust, a person that you really resonate with. Invest in yourself and allow that person to hold the space for you, because what happens is, even if we are so great at seeing the limitation and the blind spots of other people, like you're just looking at them and talking a little bit with them, and you immediately can point out where they should be really focusing their attention, we are so incapable to see our own blind spots.
Yes.
Because they are too close.
Yeah.
And we can't see them. So yes, while it is true that once you have access to the tools, to the processes, it's really rinse and repeat kind of process that becomes easier and easier until it becomes like a conditioned reflex. But I think it's important that in the beginning you really invest in seeing your blind spots, because we don't know what we don't know. No. And sometimes exactly what we don't know is blocking us from moving forward.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I do process this on myself, which is number mapping. So I don't always know what's going to come up. I actually go, I don't know what it is, and it's just coming up with the divine healing. And I'm going, oh my God, I didn't know. But even so, I go to others to, unblock me, because otherwise I can't hold a space for myself all the time. So absolutely. This is another thing I've been experiencing a lot of requests and having, talking to a lot of people, and it's almost like once people realize that they can, when they invest in themselves and they take that one first step and they can see the reward as when they've done it and it's complete, it's kind of like, yes, I get it now. I can really do this. And then let's go. And then maybe another investment in something else. I mean, I've noticed this with myself as well. You invest, but it's totally worth it. And you need someone else there for holding you through the transformation. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Cristina. That's really great. So just wanted to talk a little bit about, I mean, we can kind of flow through, but just talk to us about how your inner world reflects exactly what it is you see on the outside. Exactly to the T.
I will tell you how I'm using the outside world. Reverse, because I think it's much more effective for people to hear that. How I'm using the outside world in order to understand what to adjust and what to improve and what to focus on in order to grow or to elevate or to shift inside in my inner world. So if you are looking at everything around you as a reflection of what is inside, then there is no more need for judging yourself or beating yourself up. And this is, I think it's the most important part, that is, in the end, is making the difference between people that really succeed and people who are just being rolling in the victimhood, right? Kind of vibe and mud, emotional mud, we are saying. When you do understand that you are really responsible for everything that is outside of you and happening to you, then the first thing would be not to blame yourself, not to judge yourself, because that will be, again, putting you back in the disempowered state. Just to take it for what it is and then decide to use that information, to use that whatever you notice outside in order to go inside and, like almost like an engineer, make the fine tuning so that you get better results. And then there is a game. It's a continuous game between what you see and what you know then that you have to shift more and better in order to better yourself and better your reality and elevate everything with you, right? So that's what I am personally doing, and that's exactly what I'm teaching my clients. And like this, everything becomes, like as I was saying, becomes really fun and as an experiment, because then you see that immediately when you shift it one thing inside. Like I will be giving examples, like it can be boundaries, right? Who doesn't need healthy boundaries? And it's such a common topic. Once you just decide inside, I'm not available for this anymore, I'm available for the other thing, immediately the relationships shift, the kind of person that comes in your world shifts. We are speaking about soulmate clients included, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, when we are speaking about, okay, I'm not available anymore for this kind of client, what I'm available right now, starting from now on, is this kind of client that has this kind of emotional, emotions and the vibe attached to them, and this kind of behavior and the way that they are treating the relationship and the coaching, etc., etc. Then that kind of person is coming in your world like magically, right?
Yeah.
The same with money, because we were, in the end, this is what we are speaking about. When you decide that money isn't complicated anymore, and you are available for more ease, for more flow, and you are not just repeating it to yourself as a parrot, even if that has its own benefits, but you also give yourself permission to go a bit deeper and to feel into it and to own it. Mm-hmm. Then guess what? You start receiving signs and proofs that you are right.
Yes.
So it's really, when you look at the reality around with curiosity, you will find that it's such a fun game to play.
Yes.
Because you see what happens outside, go inside, make the shift, and then just work. Like, oh my God,
no, it's working
again.
Exactly.
It changed.
Exactly. And for those who are listening who hasn't even tried money manifesting or haven't even started that journey yet, what is your advice? What's the first step, really? I mean, I know that you personally have a lot of smaller programs. People can try something and then look what they want later on, right? To try your energy. But just as a advice, where do you start?
In believing. You start by literally, if let's say that you are working actively on discovering what are the limitations, because that is really fundamental. But if you want to take this one notch further, I would say that the foundation for everything, any kind of manifestation, money manifestation included, is starting to believe that it is possible for you and that you deserve it. When you really align yourself with this truth and then just detach, like surrender. I'm saying in one of my courses, imagine that you are going to a restaurant and you are, placing your food order. You're not, after you place your food order, you are not freaking out. You're not wasting any of your time in order to think, did they bring me the steak or not? What if they forget about the potatoes, right? No. You are not thinking anymore. You just place the order and that's it. It's done. You know that it will be coming, okay, sooner or later, but it will be showing up. Mm-hmm. When you practice that kind of surrender in the sense of faith, knowing that sooner or later, anyway, you'll be receiving what you wanted, and you couple that with believing that you can have it, it's possible for you, and you do deserve it, then you will be unlocking some magic in there.
It is magic, because I tell you, I just launched a program and the closing the cart was yesterday. And every night I was completely following everything that we've been talking about and you've been teaching me. And guess what? Every morning, bang, something in the cart.
Congratulations. Yeah. That's exactly how it is working.
And to be honest, there was maybe more opportunities and people kind of inquiring and then slipping away, like this, because it's like normal. but I always was like, whoa, something better or someone better. And everyone that's going to be in the program is going to be the perfect people to be in the program. And everyone else, maybe later they will come another time or whatever. But it was like, because also, again, I decided on the clients. I was like, no, I want it to be easy. I want them to really enjoy this. I want them to get maximum benefit from this program. Like, you know, no traumas, no dramas, you know, everything easy, fun, great, amazing transformation. And guess what? It was not stressful. I was like, it was easy. So I was like, okay, this is good. Like, no, I'm just relaxing here and having fun, and then go, okay. And if there was a couple of people slipped through and didn't get, you know, they didn't do it, I was like, okay, next time, you know, way. and it's great. I feel great. You know, I ran the first one today, and it's like amazing. Feels really good. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I can first-hand experience, I can tell that this works, because there was something you told me once about, and this is quite interesting, but how you seed the plant, right? But you wouldn't go and water it like every 2 minutes, you know, because then it's like you're over attending it. You'll just relax. You plant it and then go, okay, let's go and, you know, do whatever else I need to do, and you know, stay focused, but you know, still have everything in motion, but not like no fretting. So that really works as well. And also you feel good in this space. It's like, wow, amazing, you know. And so that's been transformative.
Here I feel inspired to share two ideas. The first one would be, and this is something that I'm teaching my private clients, and it's like every time they really, you know, feel into it, they are like blown away. It's so much more important, the energy from which you are showing up, you are sharing your message, you are putting things out, than how, or not than how, than what you are doing.
Yes.
So imperfect actions, but shared from the right elevated, magnetic, super excited, passionate kind of energy will be bringing so much more results than perfect actions, perfect execution, but from a dead energy, right?
Yes.
So even if you are making very, very imperfect cool pieces of your creation or pieces of communication or whatever you are putting out there, but your energy is the right one, you will always win. This would be the first thing that I wanted to share. The second one is, it's not working when you think it's not working, and it's always working when it is, you really decide that it is.
Yes.
That's it. As simple as that.
Yeah. And something I've been practicing lately is, like, if I feel a bit tired because I've got, you know, things I've got to do, I just go straight to that vision of what I've seen in the first place, or where I'm actually going with my work, not for the sake of me, for the sake of helping the world, right? And then energy is just like this, because it's
not anymore about you.
It's not about me. And therefore I just go, wow, and I straight into the flow, right? Because that's where we create from. This is where the soul comes through, and this is where, you know, the magic comes through, right? So that's been really helpful. So thank you. So yeah,
so very happy to see how you are blooming more and more with your gifts, sharing them with the world.
And you know, I speak to my clients about this as well. You know, focus on what it is you're helping with, because that is really only that matters, and then everything else will just fall into place. I mean, it's the same really, because we're servicing, especially in the healing and transformational space, you know, we're serving to help other people transform. So, you know, this is so important. But again, the fine balance of not depleting yourself, so you're not serving from like, so, you know, self-depletion from love and service, but obviously and then expecting to receive, because it's like you said, you decide, you expect, it's easy. So yeah, that's been really good. So I want to check in because I know you need to go at past. So I just want
Yeah,
to.
I have the ballet of my daughter.
Yeah, I know. You said you mustn't miss that, of course.
No, I would
Never.
so gladly stay here much
Yeah.
more.
So let me see here if we have any questions. Look, sometimes people put in questions. Let me just look in the Facebook one here. Let me have a look. No questions just yet. So we could kind of have a chat on for another couple of minutes. Let me see. Anyone in Zoom have questions? So no questions in there for the moment. But I had another question because I'm obviously doing this. So when we were talking earlier, we were saying, okay, you have conditioning, and the past has created your money beliefs, etc. What are the most common money blocks? What would you say? So people go, oh yeah, of course, that you experienced. What so that people can say, yeah, that's me.
I think that the most common ones are related to money is hard to get. You have to work really hard in order to get money, a lot of money. So most probably you will be burning yourself out, burning yourself into the ground. You have to sacrifice your family, not only your health, but your family and your relationships, your friends, for money. And obviously, who wants to do that? Because you can't have it all. I think that this comes from the root of you can't have it all. So you need to just sacrifice something, to make a compromise. Another belief is that I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. Who am I? Who am I to want all this? Who gives me the right almost to have all this? And people don't understand that they have the right just because they breathe, just because they were born here, and just because they have those desires that are there in themselves for a reason. And also, obviously, lots of the limitations come from what might happen if they did get the money. Like they might be paying too many taxes. Lots of people will want from their money, and then what if they will be losing it all, and then it will be so painful? What if they will be attacked? Sometimes these are completely crazy. People are saying, I don't even know why I'm saying this, because it's crazy, but they do appear, they do show up. So they are present in the subconscious mind. So whatever comes with negative also associations with rich people, like rich people are just bad persons, rich people are just almost mutilated emotionally. So obviously, who wants to be a person that they will get or that they are now currently judging? They will make all the possible not to get there, right? Subconsciously. I think that these are the most common ways or stories that people use in order to block themselves. And then obviously there are so many other creative ways that every individual brings to the table. But I think that these are the common ground.
Yeah. And for me personally, this was obviously happened before we got to know each other, but it was a big one when my father passed away. So the whole ancestral line, there was a lot of programming about poverty, not having enough, having to work so hard, save the money, and if you don't save it, you have nothing, all this. And I think that's a big one. I mean, that was a big one for me, but I'm sure a lot, looking at all the ancestral in many cultures, I would say this is quite a big one, right?
It's more about people like us don't get to make so much money.
Like
this is for someone else, for more special people. People like us don't get to earn that much money. We are not rich.
We're not.
So it's about an identity that has been created over sometimes many generations.
Yes.
And it's really, really hard to emotionally, mentally, energetically detach yourself from that reality. It's a real challenge, but it's absolutely
But
doable.
it's definitely worth it, because I've done, not just with you and me, but with other processes, a lot of clearings, and it's worth every, it's really worth it, because you just not just that, you feel better, because it's not like in your energy anymore. It's like, it's gone, and it feels like the path is clear, and you can just go now and create whatever you want. But I mean, that's my own experience. But yeah, so that is we're going to have to bring it to an end, because I don't want you to be late for Anna.
No, I just to conclude, I think that it's really important to understand that some of the that our relationship with money is being driven both by our own stories that we just decided to invent for ourselves graciously, especially in the early years, most of the times. But it also comes from parts of energy that don't even belong to us, right? Which are part of that paradigm that we were mentioning in the beginning. And yes, especially because that is an energy that is not serving you and is not even yours. It's of who knows whose ancestor that has been passing it down to the next generation, and then the next and the next. When you are releasing that, it's a lightness that you are experiencing. It's like almost like putting down a burden that you've been carrying on your shoulders.
Yeah, fantastic.
It is a shift.
So how can people get in touch? What's your how can people best get in touch with you, Cristina? Is there anything that you're running at the moment that people might be interested in to get into your world?
People are always invited to get into my world, and I think the easiest place to get connected with me is on Instagram. Where I am, it's easy to search as Cristina Bold or Cristina_BOLD. And then there I give lots of freebies and cool stuff that people can choose from when they get there.
Yeah, cool.
We have a quite nice community there. And lots of content that we are sharing every day. So I think that whoever is interested in this work and looks for more inspiration and obviously more support, definitely they can start by checking the freebies in there.
Yeah, check the freebies on Instagram. Great. But I'm going to also tag your I think I'll just tag your name and your website here on the Facebook Live. And so anyone who wants to get in touch with Cristina, please do so. Thank you so much for watching the show. I will be doing it soon again. I have a couple of weeks of a break now because I'm very deep into my program. So I'm loving myself, not doing too much, but just, in nice flow. So I'll be back soon. And really looking forward to that. So now I'll see you, Cristina.
Thank you so much for helping me with the time.
So yes, that's okay.
I can do everything.
Okay, then. So I'll see you soon. And thank you everyone for watching, and have a wonderful afternoon, evening, whatever you're up to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.